News at 5:30 starts now.
Thanks for joining us. We begin, of course, with the weather where you live. Not a nice start to the evening for you. Your commute home might be a little bit dicey. John's tracking everything you need to know. And John, we saw a couple different pictures of hail out there. Some big, some small, but all in all, not good.
Biggest hail I've seen here in the metro area has been about 1¼ inches. That was out in the Tuckahoe area, but a lot of video from around Collegiate, Mannequin Sabbath, over into Powhatan, a video that we've got there. A lot of trees reported down in Southside Richmond. I know Matthew McClellan was on Buford Road.
Yeah, Jank.
Buford and Jank. I'm going to suggest maybe he try to go up Jank Road towards the Forest Hill Park area. That might be a place where we've got a lot of tree damage out there. So
a lot of power outages too. 36,000 at our current count. But this is the severe thunderstorm watch that you're looking at, Jay.
This is the severe thunderstorm watch. Again, we have one cluster of warnings, and that is from the Richmond area southeastward down to Dinwiddie. That is in effect until 6 o'clock this evening. Now, here's what's going on. Had the storm start organizing off to the north of us, right along the cold front that's coming in towards us here. These right here are slinging down through the city, and again, they're now on the south side, and these are the ones that have got the history of producing hail. I think we've actually got that video of the hail out on Lauderdale Road coming down. As you can see it bouncing off the car right there, looking at bouncing off over into the pavement in that location. So that's where the big hail happens to be as we speak. Now, let's go ahead and talk about where this storm is going for the remainder of the next half hour. The strongest part of the storm down here towards Varina, sliding down to the southeast. So it's going to move into Prince George, eventually Dinwiddie, past just to the east of Petersburg. Here's some of the locations to expect. Get ready for some strong gusting winds with it. Hail potential, though, may be dropping a little bit. The good news is a better day is coming your way tomorrow, which is going to be nice. A little relief from the heat and humidity. And hey, remember when you're away from the TV set, the best thing to have in the palm of your hand, or when the power's out, you can't watch us on the tube. Bad weather is around. Like we've got 35,000, 36,000 people without power right now. 8 new Storm Tracker app. Cell phones still work for a while. You get the latest radar warnings and forecast right in the palm of your hand.
Thank you, JB. News where you live now. Local police officers empowering youth with a dose of double Dutch.
Yeah, 8 News reporter Nikel Williams caught Jump Stars in action today and has more from Petersburg.
Jump Stars are teaching youth to land leading roles in their own lives through the game of double Dutch.
Building confidence, giving them something to do, letting them learn to reach goals, meeting new people. Some of the bigger girls, I actually employed them.
Patricia Clement started Jump Stars in 2012. Jumping rope is just one of her passions.
I love to empower and inspire.
She's building up young girls and boys that same age and older all across the region. One jump, one turn at a time.
Jump Rope with empowerment comes with goal setting, vision boards, career choices, nutritional choice, healthy choices, and stuff like that.
13-year-old Akira learned to jump last year.
I started to learn how to jump in the rope from the outside, and I started learning tricks as I got better.
Kids at the Petersburg YMCA, some taking to the ropes for the first time, show us their stuff, jumping as quickly as they learn.
It's like a very fun thing to do.
So fun, I had to jump in myself. In Petersburg, Nikel Williams, 8 News.
Oh!
There she goes, and her heels nonetheless.
I'm surprised she made it at all. Had she taken the heels off, it'd have
That's
been a big
impressive.
show. It really is, and what a great way to lure kids in to healthy eating and good lifestyle choices.
Yeah, good exercise and fun too. They look pretty creative. It's
And
not
team
just
building.
the old jump rope that we used to do on the playground.
No.
This is fancy.
It is fancy.
All right, well, here at home, Governor Terry McAuliffe's administration is urging the state Supreme Court to throw out a challenge to his order, restoring the rights of hundreds of thousands of felons. The court heard arguments today. Republican lawmakers argue the order is unconstitutional. No word yet on when the justices will make their decision. We're joined now by political analyst Richard Marr to talk about the rights restoration case. Thanks for being here, Richard. This is a complicated issue.
The first question to you is, what happens if the state Supreme Court overturns Governor McAuliffe's order?
Well, then the governor's going to have to go back to the process he was using before. It's a much more painstaking process where they have to review each case individually and decide on the merits of whether the felon can have their rights restored. And they were making a lot of progress in doing this, but it's still a much slower pace than just granting tens of thousands of felons their voting rights back all at one time.
And how long do you think it'll take them to make their decision?
That's hard to know. Certainly, we're not on a regular calendar. This was a special session of the court But the fact that they did it at all suggests that they want to have an impact on the November election, or at least settle the issue before then. So we should expect something in the next few weeks.
Do critics worry that felons with their rights restored will affect the November election's outcome?
There is a suggestion that it might. It depends on how close the election is. President Obama won Virginia in 2012 by 150,000 voters, and it's hard to see the number of felons we're talking about affect a race that's that far apart. But if it's much tighter, then we're talking tens of thousands of voters could make a big difference.
Now, the governor's supporters claim initially suppressing the rights of felons who've served their time to vote was designed to help conservatives. Does that shade this case at all?
Well, certainly the idea of restricting voting rights for anybody, whether felons or using other rules like voter ID, is something that's been used for years, decades, centuries almost, to try to restrict mostly poor and minority voters. And that tends to benefit the Republicans, conservatives, as poor minority voters tend to vote more Democratic. So whether it's intentional or not, it certainly does seem to help conservatives more.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Richard Marr from Randolph-Macon. Thanks for being here tonight.
And coming up tonight on 8 News at 6, 8 News reporter Mark Tania will have a reaction from the ACLU on today's case.
In Washington, D.C., officials say a haze in a metro tunnel is just dust from construction work. You see it here. It is kind of ominous. An exhaust system was working this morning to clear the air. Many metro riders worried it was smoke. They'd been injured by smoke before, but transit officials assured them it was just dust. Metro was not closed by the incident.
The University of Richmond is launching a new beer brewer professional certificate program, and this isn't just called going to frat parties, folks. Students interested in entering the craft beer industry will learn the process from brewing to distribution. Several local breweries are participating in the project. The first class for the one-year program begins in October. That's cool. I mean, there's a huge craft brewery scene in the area.
Who would have imagined that
an
an esteemed institution like U of R would add that?
And I'd imagine it would be kind of difficult as well. I mean, there's a lot of chemistry behind it.
A lot of science in brewing. A lot.
Well,
All right.
Good luck.
There you go.
Sign up. Well, the International Olympic Committee speaks out on what it thinks the consequences of the Russian doping scandal should be.
And that new trend of coloring books for adults may have health benefits, but it could restrict you in some ways as well. And we'll explain why. John?
Across central Virginia, strong storms continue to roll through areas now south of the James River, with parts of the east end accepted, and they're headed towards the Tri-Cities. Still very warm for them, 89 degrees. We'll talk about some changes in your weather tomorrow and Thursday that you'll enjoy coming up.
You're watching 8 News at 5:30, covering the news where you live on our rainy evening.
Ooh, and how. From Ettrick to Elmont, that's a live look at conditions over the capital city. Don't touch your remote. We're back with more 8 News in a moment. Welcome back to 8 News at 5:30. You're looking at one of our top stories today. Severe weather passes through central Virginia and creates havoc. Right now, 55,000 people without power. These pictures of downed trees on I-64 in Goochland from digital content manager here at 8 News, Rob Crocker. Drivers should also expect delays on I-64 near Shallow Well Road due to a crash. The eastbound left lane and right lane have been closed. Traffic backups in that area about 3.5 miles right now. In world news tonight, German police believe a man who attacked passengers on a train yesterday was motivated by Islamic extremism. Investigators say a note and hand-painted ISIS flag found at his home lead them to believe that the 17-year-old Afghan shouted, God is great in Arabic before hurting 5 people on a train near Würzburg. Police fatally shot the attacker as he tried to escape.
Today, the International Olympic Committee announced it wants Russia banned from hosting Olympic sports events amid the recent doping scandal. Russian athletes are still training for the Rio Olympics. The head of an independent commission on anti-doping claims the abuse and the cover-up are more widespread than first reported.
The Ministry of Sport directed, controlled, and oversaw the manipulation of athletes' analytical results or sample swapping.
Russia's track and field team is fighting its Rio ban in court, and a decision is due this Thursday. During that ruling, Olympic officials say they will determine if a blanket ban on all athletes is valid.
The third and final winner of a $1.6 billion Powerball jackpot has come forward. We'll show you what they plan to do with their share of the money. John?
And here across central Virginia, strong storms continue to move through the southern part of the metro area. Looks like the one in Chesterfield starting to take over the strength. That could mean some heavy rain for Petersburg in the next 30 minutes or so. We'll talk about it coming up.
Welcome back. We begin with a health alert here in this block for you. The trend of adult coloring for stress relief continues to rise, but some researchers say it can actually stifle creativity. If that's your goal, to be creative, they recommend you draw or read a book instead. However, they say any artistic activity is better than none at all, and expressing yourself can lower the stress hormone cortisol. Interesting.
All right, let's continue our biggest story tonight. Severe weather passing through the area.
Yeah, that's right. We're already getting reports of damage, tons of power outages. Let's go out live to 8 News reporter Matthew McClellan. Matthew, where are you and what's going on out there?
Hey, you guys. Yeah, we are on Buford Road in North Chesterfield. This seems to be one of the areas most hard hit by this storm that was pummeling down on the area just a few minutes ago. You'll see fire crews are here managing the damage, trying to get a sense of exactly how bad it's been. If you look this way, you will see a tree that has come down on power lines as the storm bore down on the area. Heavy winds, heavy rain, even hail coming down in North Chesterfield and the surrounding areas. Right now, you'll see this block of the road is closed, the 2400 block of Buford Road, closed to traffic. They are rerouting cars as they try to get home from work. But I want to bring you back this way. You'll see that fire crews are now putting up caution tape just to hold everybody back and kind of manage the scene here. Again, everything does seem to have lightened up. The storm does seem to have passed. Right now we are looking at clearer skies. It is not raining down as heavily on us. But it does appear that it's going to take some time, definitely through the evening hours, to clean up all of this mess. Reporting in North Chesterfield, Matthew McClellan, 8 News.
Those were the areas that got hit right at the top of the hour by that big storm. Now that storm moving down through southern Chesterfield and southeastern Henrico. Now here's what's going on. Intense heat across the nation's midsection, and then right along the eastern edge of it where we are, energy from showers and thunderstorms that pop up come sliding down towards us. You see it right up here towards Iowa. I don't think that's going to be a problem, but the stuff that came through yesterday is coming down along a cold front that's headed right through central Virginia, and that has sparked off this cluster of very strong storms just to the north of us. It's worked its way down to the southeast and head for us here in central Virginia. Now, the storms have dropped, as you can see, south of the city, but look right down here as we get towards the Appomattox River. That's where all the heavy action is right now. Intense lightning. The storm's now east of Hopewell, headed towards Claremont. Very intense lightning for there. Maybe some strong gusty winds. When this line went through Richmond International Airport, they had wind gusts of 58 miles an hour through there. Also, these storms right here sliding in towards the Tri-Cities, so Petersburg's going to get hit pretty good and pretty soon from these storms. This is the swath right here by Hopewell. Now, this is kind of intensified for you over here. That's just picked up with the possibility of the hail over there possibly becoming slightly bigger across the region. That's the only action going on right here. So we've got some pretty strong storms. They're going to continue for a while. The air temperature, we've dropped to 69 degrees, still 84 in Petersburg. Petersburg was 89 about 15 minutes ago. So that's that cool air coming in here. The threat for the strong storms now south of the metro Richmond area down through the Tri-Cities. That's what will be early this evening. So we'll have some strong storms early on, then turning partly cloudy with fog developing as temperatures drop down to 70 degrees. A different day tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures mid to upper 80s, which is kind of where we were this afternoon, but the humidity a lot lower. The weather looks pretty good tomorrow. There is a slight chance of a shower here along the eastern shore and maybe down in south side as we head later on in the afternoon to the evening hours. Tomorrow night, a little dose of modified summer polar air. It will let our temperatures drop into the 60s overnight. I'm going to start you off on Thursday looking pretty good. Good amount of sunshine over us. A few clouds coming in by Thursday night. The humidity's coming back. Thursday tolerable at 89 degrees, and then it is hot plus through the weekend. The humidity's going up through the roof too. So by the time we get to Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we'll start to run the risk of more boomers again. We're coming back right after this.
The icons, the music. It's time now to take a look at what's trending online.
Well, first up, what everyone is talking about, Pippa Middleton is engaged. She's the sister of the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton. Reports say the 32-year-old's boyfriend popped the question during a romantic getaway earlier this month. Pippa and her hedge fund manager fiance said in a statement that they plan to marry next year. They've been dating less than a year, but had a brief romance back in 2012. I'd imagine they'll be relatively well off. And after more than 6 months, the final winner has claimed their share of January's record $1.6 billion Powerball jackpot. A California couple, Marvin and May Acosta, claimed their $528 million on Friday. They're asking for privacy and say they're committing nearly all of the money to a trust and charities. Winners in Florida and Tennessee had already claimed their prizes. Well, it's good to know that they at least knew that they had the winning ticket, because I was worried.
They waited almost 6 months to turn it in, like you should. And also, California is one of the states where you don't have to identify yourself on camera as a winner. So they have a little bit of privacy to start.
That's right. Hey, do you really think they're going to give it all to charity and trust?
There's enough to go around.
There is enough for everyone. Well, become a part of 8 News. Send in your pictures, videos, and story ideas by emailing ireport8@wric.com or call our hotline 330-8000. Stay with us. We're back in moments, but now taking a look. Yeah, believe it or not, this is our VSU camera. You can't see a thing out there except the raindrops. Not a nice evening for you out there. Be careful. A lot of power outages as well. John's tracking it all. In the Weather Department, we've all the news you need to know about power outages in moments.
Welcome back to 8 News at 5:30. A new program in Florida is helping the homeless there escape searing summer heat. Silver Harapatian shows us how those pit stops work.
The homeless situation in downtown is a reality.
City of Miami Mayor Tomas Regalado announcing phase 2 of the Pit Stop pilot program. The city now investing $250,000 to build permanent public bathrooms. The first one will be by the Metro Rail and Flagler Street.
The idea is to build 3 permanent public bathrooms for the use of homeless, but also for the use of anyone.
The city's been testing out the pilot program this past year, saying more than 16,000 people have used the facilities, the highest usage during the Ultra Music Festival at Bayfront Park.
The success of the program has been behind actually having monitors and staff at the restrooms.
Downtown Development Authority spokesperson says the pilot program also creates opportunities for people looking for jobs.
They're part of a program with Camilla's House that we fund, the DDA funds, and they're out there monitoring, cleaning, making sure that there's no illegal activity happening inside the restrooms.
Miami residents and business owners we spoke to say they are glad that there will be public facilities available.
I'm from Europe, but I live in New York City, I live in the West Coast. I mean, a big city like Miami should have like public restroom, you know.
While most say programs like this improves the city's sanitary issue, there are those who believe it encourages the homeless element in downtown. Mayor Regalado says the homeless issue is not going anywhere. The least we can do is offer basic necessities.
The least we can do is give them dignity so they can go to the bathrooms and move on.
They will begin building the first permanent bathroom in October, and it will be open to the public by December.
Interesting concept.
Very.
They do it in Europe, so it's not the sort of thing that big cities are unaccustomed to.
And I think the people that are creating these are hoping that this becomes more of a widespread thing around the country, especially in areas with high homeless populations.
And they're monitored for safety.
That's right. Well, that's it for us on 8 News at 5:30.
It's time for more news where you live now and your Storm Tracker forecast on 8 News at 6. Let's get started.